Folks, thanks for joining again. My name is Whaley. I'm the CRO and co-founder here at Teal. And as usual, I have my partner in crime, Reid Johnston, sitting in Minnesota today for our monthly Microsoft tips and tricks. How you doing today, Reid?
Doing great. Yeah, we're getting some warm weather, so I love it. It's cloudy, but it's warm.
Warm here in Virginia as well. So we try to keep these things at 20 minutes or less. We have a bunch of stuff to get to today. It's all Teams related. But if
Yeah.
anybody has any questions that they want us to hit, feel free to put them in the chat. Caden will let me know, or the Q&A section, and we'll get them answered. With that said, let's jump right in. Reid, it looks like you're sharing your screen now. We want to talk a little bit about
Yeah.
Teams and Meeting Facilitator.
Yeah.
Understanding
So
that we may be a little bit limited because we're in Zoom and we're trying to show a Teams sort of some features of Teams meetings. But first one you want to talk about is Facilitator Agent, I believe.
yep. So I'll kind of start at the beginning. The concept here is when you create a new event in Teams. So I'm in Teams. When I create a new event, marketing meeting, and you turn on Teams meeting, now I've got an invite that goes out that people can join, so that's important. But if you click on this options here, you can select a bunch of meeting options, including turning on the facilitator. So the facilitator is an agent that joins your meeting. You need to have somebody with Copilot that's in the meeting. So the Copilot $30 a month license. Since I'm setting up this meeting, I need Copilot in order to turn this on. But the key that I want to show here is normally you'd put in your meeting agenda here, right? At the last tips and tricks, we talked about this bar at the bottom that says add agenda. And what this does is this creates a loop component that is a collaborative meeting agenda. So anyone that joins this meeting or anyone that's invited to the meeting will be able to see this collaborative agenda and participate in it. When we add facilitator to the meeting, the facilitator will automatically type in meeting notes during the meeting. So it's like getting a transcript or a summary, but live during the meeting. The other part that I wanted to show is in this agenda section, you can document different topics for your meeting, and then the facilitator will kind of help you keep on track. So we can say intros, and then I can do at, which will pop up the ability to select names. I can add myself. So Reid's going to do the intros for 5 minutes. And then the second topic can be sales. Gar can talk about sales for 10 minutes. And you see, when I added Gar here, if I scroll up to the top, it automatically added Gar to the invite. So as soon as I create that meeting invite, I can just start typing in the agenda and it'll automatically add people to my meeting. So we can say marketing, Gar, sometimes takes a second to find the names, even though it just found them. And then I can say 10 minutes. There it goes, Gar, 10 minutes. Okay, so now I've got my meeting agenda set up, okay? So now we're gonna use the magic of technology and jump to a screenshot. So look at that smile. So this is a meeting that we set up earlier in the day where we started going through this collaborative agenda. And the meeting notes section, you can see here that the facilitator was live typing what we were talking about as we were going through this meeting. The cool part that I wanted to show, but didn't seem to be working today, was each of these different agenda items can be seen at the top here, and you have this timer bar. And you're able to set a meeting timer that helps you stay on track, but it'll actually segment that bar for each agenda item. And that's all part of the facilitator, the meeting timer, and using this agenda, the meeting notes.
At least one person needs the Copilot license for that.
Yeah, it really needs to be, if you're sending out that invite, the only way that you can turn on facilitator is if you have that license. You can add a facilitator to a meeting later, but the person that adds it has to have that license. And you have to have the license to interact with the facilitator. It'll ignore everybody else. One of the things you can do is you can actually chat with it during the meeting, ask it questions, and so on. But it's going to ignore anybody that doesn't have a license.
So Reid, what about the timer up there? Does
Mhm.
that come on just because you've turned on facilitator, or is there some other
No,
button that
if
you have to
you
press
if
to
you go
add
into
that?
the little menu options during the meeting, you can turn on the meeting timer and you'll see this. But when you've got the facilitator added to the meeting, and if it's able to see this agenda, which it wasn't working today, but Microsoft's documentation says it's supposed to work, it'll update the timer according to each item. So everybody can use the timer. You don't need a special license to use the timer.
Yeah, so the thing you're pointing out is that the agenda goes into the timer, and the timer is something you turn on real time while in a meeting.
Yep.
Got it. Got it.
So the main takeaway here is when you're creating a calendar invite, use Teams. Don't use Outlook, because when you use Teams, you've got the ability to set all of these different meeting options. And there are a bunch of them now. I mean, there's co-pilot options, there's recording options, setting recording automatically. You can really set up your meeting the way you want it from the beginning. And then at the bottom here, build out that collaborative agenda so that anybody that you're inviting to the meeting can see what you're going to talk about, and they can also add content to the meeting too. And then
Yeah, and I
have
mean
that facilitator
this is
take.
about the fourth webinar in a row that we've said, or you've said, use Teams instead of Outlook calendar.
Yeah.
So an email just, I mean, a question just came in. Can the notes be stored in OneNote?
This little section here is essentially Microsoft Loop. You could copy and paste the notes to OneNote, but your invite doesn't have visibility to OneNote.
So that's actually a great, sort of a great question. So Reid, how do you use OneNote at all for taking notes in meetings, or do you just leave it all in here? Like, what is your style?
So I've got two monitors, and I've got my meeting content on one, and on the other, I open up a OneNote page for every meeting that I attend. And I go into OneNote and I label it and I tag it accordingly so I can easily find it. But that's where I take all of my personal notes. The meeting notes here is really for everyone to see. It's a collaborative space. The meeting facilitator will automatically type notes, but I always keep my own notes, things that I want to follow up on or check on. And I use OneNote for that, and it's awesome.
So then you copy the meeting notes into your OneNote so they're all in one place, or so then in your work style, you look at two places when you're trying to come back to a meeting.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I will go and I'll click copy component. I'll copy this loop and I'll paste it into my OneNote so that I can just click on it and it takes me right back into the meeting.
Okay. So then really when you're coming back to meetings, you go back to your OneNote, and then if you want to go inside of this loop, it's right, you pasted it right in your your OneNote. Oh, okay. That's a great work process. Thanks for sharing that. That was a great question, actually. Thanks, Tamara. So I think next what we wanted to talk about, and that was a good one, took up about half the meeting, Reid. So drafts, how to save and messages and create tasks, which is one of my big ones. But do you want to do drafts next? I think that's a quick one.
Yeah, this is kind of a quick one. So not everybody seems to have this feature. This is kind of rolling out and has been rolling out. But when you're in Teams.
Reid, if I might interrupt, the screenshots that you take of me are not my best photos.
They're perfectly timed.
Okay.
Yeah. When you're in Teams here and you're in chat, this is where you've got some of these kind of filters. And the other day, I noticed drafts popped up. Now, when we were talking about this earlier, I don't think you have it. But I do. I've got it. And basically what it is if you start typing in any chat. So I'll open up, I've got, a bunch of chats here. I can start typing a message and then, I'll get a pop-up and I'll get distracted and I'll go
Yep.
look at something else, right?
It happens to me all the time.
Yep. I'm usually the cause of it, right?
Yes, you are the sidetracker.
Yep. So I can go into drafts and there's that message that I started typing. So I can see all of the messages that I started typing, and then I can click on them. And as soon as I finish it and hit send, it disappears from that draft list. So this is really just a way of helping you find all of those messages that you started to type but didn't finish. So it's right at
So
the
that's
top here.
interesting, Reid. You're right. I don't know how you know I don't have it, but how do you, it just appears there, or is there some different view that I need to set up so that I do see it?
Well, when we were looking at your system just the other day, you did not have it. But you want to make sure that you have your view customized so that you're in this combined view. I think you were in separate view where it's
Yep, that is
separated.
correct. I like separate,
Yep.
and I've just put it there to combined, which I don't like, so I'll change it back. But you are right. I don't have it, so it must be rolling out more slowly.
Yeah. Yep. So it needs to be in you need to be in the combined view and then it's available there.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's interesting because that often happens to me, and then all of a sudden, and I think Brittany probably notices. Oh, I meant to send this last night, and I'm just finding it.
Yep.
Um, so that's good. Thanks for sharing that. All right, how to save a message, create a task. So this one is near and dear to my heart because what happens is I get distracted. Somebody asks me through Teams, um, can you do X? And I'm like, sure. Or I don't
Yep.
even see the message and I get on to another task and then I forget to do the message. So in past, we've talked about adding to planner, but there's another, uh, which is create a
Yeah.
task. But let's talk about create a task and also save message.
Yeah. So for every message that you have, you've got these three little dots, options. When you click on options, you have some different options here. So save this message is one of them. It was a feature that was available a long time ago, and then Microsoft took it away. And that's when I started using create a planner task. And then they brought it back, but I'm still using create a planner task. And the difference between these two things is if I click save this message, I get a little icon there, and then up in my message list, I've got a section of saved messages. Here we go. These are messages that I've saved. But in order to get to this, I have to be in Teams. And I use a computer. I use multiple computers. I use my mobile device. I don't want to have to hunt through this to find my saved messages. So my preference is I'll go back here into the chat. I'll hover over and create a planner task. Now, what this does is it's going to open up a new window and it's going to create a task that saves into my private tasks, which is Microsoft To Do. Or if I'm in a team, I can save it to different teams here. So I've got account management team, test plan team, owner's discussion. You can pick where you want to put the saved message. That's the thing I really like. So then I can view it in a planner that's part of a team. I can view it in my to-do, which is available on the web. It's available through an app. And you'll see it puts the content of the message and also it puts in this ugly looking hyperlink, but this lets me jump right back to wherever that message was in Teams, which I really like. So my preference is three
So
little
Reid, how do you
dots.
access the planner?
So you can access the planner from inside of the team that the plan exists, or you can use the Microsoft To Do app, which is an app or it's available on the web.
Yep.
And we could cover that another day.
And we actually already have, right? That's we covered it like 3 months ago. But what we were talking about today is really the save button, which is my
Yeah,
preference because it makes it a little bit easier. I
it's
just look at
quick.
saved. I look at saved. I look at saved every day to see what I saved.
Yep.
Um, Change the enter button behavior and then the fun one, which I can see that you have the fun one ready to go there. But the next one we
No,
want to talk about is change enter behavior.
yeah. So when you're typing a message, you hit enter, it sends the message. If you don't like that behavior, maybe you want a new line, you can change it. So you go up here into your settings, or I'm sorry, it's going to be up here, up on the right side. I'm going to go into, I can go into customize, and then it's going to be, I'm going to search for enter, and then it'll find right down here, keyboard shortcuts, start a new line right here. So when writing a message, press enter to send a message or start a new line. So I have it set to send a message. So I'm typing, hit send. If you prefer to have lengthy messages and you want them formatted, you can use start a new line. So it's
So hold
in,
on, Reed, just stay there. Start a new line to send, select send, or use control enter.
yep.
Um, so then you have to hit control enter, or you have to actually use your mouse and click the arrow.
Yeah. So
So
this is
interesting.
this it's a newer feature. It's not available on Mac. I was testing this on Mac earlier today. Not available. I'm on a PC right now, and it is available. So
Yeah, I didn't know this feature was available, and I use it in a lot of other apps that are non-Microsoft related. They have this feature. But another way to solve that problem is when I'm typing, I just hit Shift Enter. Um,
mhm.
I leave this setting the same.
Yep, for sure.
All right, well, let's finish up with something that I find very useful, and I'm going to use quite a bit now. But uh, but I'm not sure everyone will like it. But the use case is that rather than type some message, you can send a video chat. And there's one that I see Reed has saved that I sent him this morning, I think.
Yeah, there's a few. We were testing this out. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, a bunch of these. So to send a video message is pretty simple. You click the little plus button and then record video clip. So if I click that, we'll see. Hopefully, I'm still in the meeting here. But what it's going to do is, if I wasn't doing a live stream here, it says my camera's already in use. You'd be able to hit record, see yourself, and record a simple video message, including if you want to share your screen, which is what you were doing here. So rather than type out a lengthy message explaining something, you just record yourself talking about it, and it will send a video clip.
What happens if you hit record but you don't? You just say share your screen, even though it's probably not. I'm just seeing if it'll work right now while we're
Yeah,
talking.
let's see.
The use case for this that I used this morning was Brittany. We use HubSpot,
Mhm.
and Brittany's sort of our expert at HubSpot. And I had a question about HubSpot, and usually I type a ton of lines or I just call Brittany direct. So I just simply recorded the screen of the question I had and sent that to her, and then she could respond. It was just much more efficient.
So I can pick what screen I want, and it's kind of stuck, probably because we're in
Yeah,
Zoom.
because we're using the camera, but essentially it's a really good tool for quick videos, especially if you want to share a screen and show your colleague, what you're doing or what your issue is, and
Yeah,
have them comment on that. So, Reed, we're at 11:19, so we're right on time, 1 minute short.
perfect.
I want to thank everyone that joined today. We do this twice a month, once on generally M65, Microsoft 65, and one on Copilot.
Mhm.
If there's any questions or you want to talk to us about anything, feel free to reach out. Reed, thanks so much for sharing your expertise today. Some good stuff, all teams related. And everyone, thanks for joining. Have a great day.
See you later.